What's happening, guys? Edgy Stall here, Edgy Mike, whatever you want to call me. I've got a knife review for you. I want to take you through. I got this not too long ago, maybe about a week and a half ago. And this is the new ZeroTolerance 0456 titanium knife. It's new in 2016. There's a few videos out there on YouTube already, but I wanted to kind of share my 2 cents, what I think of the knife, kind of what I would use it for, how I use knives, and you can make your own decision if it's worth it or not. But as you can see, it's a pretty nice knife. It's a titanium lock. It's made in the USA. You can see here as I zoom in, kind of some of the blade shapes and what this blade shape looks like as I grab the edge. So it's a brand new knife. For me, I've had about a week and a half to carry it now. Really enjoying it so far. This was designed by a gentleman from Belarus. It's a Dmitry Sinkovich design titanium flipper. The blade shape, I'm not sure you would call this a sheep's foot per se, or if you would call this a kind of a reverse tonneau here, maybe, as my camera tries to focus on it, but it could be kind of a reverse tonneau. Definitely a unique grind that you have here. Kind of a cool knife. My initial impressions on this knife is, man, it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know if this is going to be something that you would consider a everyday carry, regardless of what you're doing. It's going to be your go-to carry knife, but it's one that certainly that when people see it, they're going to be, wow, I like that knife. It's a nice knife. That's pretty cool. It's maybe has an intimidation factor for some of the people, but I really don't think so. I think, the sheepfoot design is a little less assuming. It's got some nice color that kind of makes it pop. The blue backspacer, the blue pivot. Pretty cool. The blue pocket clip. And then as I zoom in on this guy, and you start to see the machining that they put into this, it's really pretty cool. I'm not sure how well that comes out in the camera. You can kind of see the lines that are here, the lines that are here. Actually, a guy that I named Troy that I've worked with on Instagram has actually done some work on some of my other titanium knives. I may send this and actually have him put some color in it, do some anodization for me. But I've seen some of those on Instagram. Maybe I'll put some pictures of them on here if I get the time when I'm editing this video. But initial impressions, pretty cool, pretty cool knife. The one of the things that really kind of blew me away when I got this for a production knife really is just the action of this knife is buttery smooth, and that's kind of a big, a symptom of having the bearings that are in this guy. So I'm very impressed. The KVT ball bearings. Price on this guy, if you were to go pick it up in the store, I go to Semperfi Depot here in San Diego, get tremendous deals, but I've seen this anywhere online from about $210 to $240, depending on when you get it on sale. I've seen it as low in person down to about $180, $185. So if you look around, even in the brand new market, you can get some pretty good deals out there on it. Just to go through the specs for you, just for you, spec geeks out there like me. Again, this is a titanium. It's a stonewash finish. It is a machined titanium. It's how they get the edges and lines. They want to make it straight, and it is a production knife. So you can see the CNC. They actually intentionally show what looks like CNC marks on it. The blade steel is actually one of the bright spots of this knife, if there's more than one. the steel on this bad boy is CTS 204P. If you look here, that is about as good as it gets, right? Like I would like this to the, you know, Crucible's 110V. Extremely good steel. Not as hard to sharpen as S90V. I do a lot of knife sharpening. We have a little business on the side that we do, edgyknives.com. Overall blade length on this guy, 3.25 inches. Handle length, or I guess closed length, is 4.5 inches. 4.5 inches long. Weight, so they claim 6.6 ounces, you know, on their website. We look at this bad boy, and this is not in ounces, grams, ounces. Here we go. You can see I'm seeing about 6.24 ounces, so less than what they're actually advertising it at. I'll tell you, it doesn't feel 6.6 ounces. If we were to compare this to, say, 561, right, 6.4 ounces. But I'll tell you, the 561 feels a lot heavier, feels a lot bigger of a knife. Some other key features, obviously this is a frame lock, has a steel insert, which makes it nice, gets rid of the stick. It is a reversible pocket clip for left or right tip-up carry. When we look at this one as it arrived, I have not opened this, broken it open, anything like that. So we can get this bad boy to focus. You can see centering is pretty much right on. It's hard to kind of tell with the grind. Lockup, you know, just the lockup is really nice. We're probably looking at 20%, something like that. Just super great job, super great work that's been done putting this out. I tend to find that ZTs have a little bit more quality control done than Benchmade, even though I kind of look at them both in the same, you know, class of knife, if you will. Benchmade's kind of had its issues lately with quality control. If you look at any YouTube video out there reviewing a Benchmade, you'll see, you know, sticky, you'll see all sorts of things, you know, from blade alignment to the grind on the edges. I don't see that problem as much with the ZTs that I buy than I do with my Benchmade knives. So again, those are kind of the specs on it. You know, fully open, we're looking at a little over 7.5 inches, 7.7 inches. So what I like to look at when I buy a knife, like, when am I going to carry this, and what am I going to be doing when I carry a knife? The kind of what I call the use case. That's the technical background in me. We talk use cases. Do I see this as an EDC knife? Certainly, possibly, depends on what you're doing. You know, as far as how this carries in your pocket, I'm not a big pocket clip fan to begin with. You look at this pocket clip and you kind of see, you know, it's kind of hard to see with that background. You can kind of see there, it is definitely not a deep carry pocket clip. I'm not looking at that as a showstopper or a problem. I don't use pocket clips all that often anyway. I really let my knives sit in the bottom of my pocket. I don't like sticking my hand in and having it hit something. So pocket clips are a little bit less important as long as they look cool. You know, I am finding as I carry nicer and nicer knives that the clip becomes a little bit more useful to me, just because I don't want it scraping against keys in my pocket or something like that. But definitely I can see this as an EDC knife. You know, this definitely has a utilitarian feel. Do I see this as a tactical knife? You know, I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure there's some penetration ability here, being that it is a reverse tonneau, you know, with the grind on the top here, certainly keeps the profile small, makes it light, being that it's a flipper and you have the flipper protecting your hand here from sliding down, you know, stabbing is doable. It doesn't really have a super narrow profile on the tip. I guess that would be my only concern of it being a tactical. I don't foresee myself ever using a tactical blade. You know, I believe in the Second Amendment, and I do believe that, you know, if you really need self-defense, that's why the Second Amendment is here, and I definitely don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight. That being said, I also don't want to get in a fight or have to use anything, and if I needed to use something, I think this would work. But as a EDC blade, I think so. I also think with this pop of color, you know, going to the office, you know, you're going to the theater with your wife, you know, it does have that gentleman's carry capability where it looks nice, and it's also a nice conversation piece. You know, the blade, you know, the other thing I noticed about this blade, I don't know if you can see it in this light, but it's, you know, a polished grind, but up here it's Stonewash, so it's actually a two-tone blade, which actually looks really cool when you see it up close. So you see the shine, if you can get through all my smudges. See the shine down here, but up here it's a nice flat Stonewash finish. But, you know, it's definitely a conversation piece. The pop of color that ZT is putting into their knives now, you know, they're also doing it in like the 0220, whatever you think of the badge. I'm not really talking about that, but putting the blue in the badge, the orange backspacers, you know, ZT's doing a lot to add a pop of color, make it a little more fresh in what it's doing. So from a size comparison, so you guys can see, you know, how it compares size-wise to some of these other knives. Back out just a little bit here. And again, that's the 0561. Kind of put a couple of other, you know, maybe from a different vendor in case you're wanting to compare it. Everybody's favorite Paramilitary 2. You can kind of see the difference in size there. You know, it kind of matches up size-wise, blade-wise, very similar in size. And then, you know, again, another one that people recognize is the Griptilian. That's full-size grip. OD green handle. Love that Benchmade knife. You can see, again, it's about that size, so it's a full-size folder. Now, I will compare it in pocket and in hand to the Griptilian. If we look at the size or the width, right, we can see that we have this rounded edge here, kind of like the Griptilian edge, and so that does make it a little bit bigger in pocket, right? When you compare it to the Paramilitary, width-wise, right, you can kind of see the Para, right, this edge goes clear out to here, even though you don't really see it in the light. It's beveled down. So it's about as wide as the Para at the narrow point, but you still have a widened out space on the ZT. Whereas the Para is flat. It's the same width all the way around. Why? So I do think the Para, for example, feels a little bit smaller in your pocket than the 456 from ZeroTolerance. So now let's talk about, you know, kind of what can we do. You know, I talked about what I liked. What do I think could be better? Well, I just kind of talked about that. The fact that it's kind of big around. And I think just an overall deeper pocket clip would be nice for most people. Again, not my biggest concern, but I think for most people, they would want a deeper pocket clip. Other than that, you know, the finish, the action, the blade shape is tremendous. Actually, when I got this, again, I do a lot of knife sharpening with both Wicked Edge and Edge Pro. And this came really, really sharp from the factory. So, you know, again, it really is just a beautiful production knife, right? I mean, you're not getting a custom, you know, knife here. You're not paying the same amount of money you're paying for a Sebenza. So we have to put everything into perspective. But, you know, at $180, I think, is about what I paid for this. I would say, you know, yeah, green light, it's good. Now, do I look at it at the $250 range that I'm seeing, like that when I looked at it online? You're probably starting to push the value of the ZT456. But I would say at that $200 range, this is a pick it up. Pick it up if you can find it. Would I recommend this knife? Absolutely. I definitely would. I think depending again on what you're wearing that day, if you're wearing jeans or khakis, perfect. If I'm wearing sports shorts or something like that, I definitely think it's probably not going to lend itself quite as well to lighter clothing, only because of its size and weight. But I do think that you carry this around, people are going to think it's pretty cool. It's going to be extremely effective. Again, it's great steel, made well, fires like a rocket. Definitely. So, hey guys, I appreciate you taking the time. That's really all I'm going to say about this knife. I plan on doing some more of these reviews, as we move forward. I'll try not to do knives that everybody has, like, the Griptilian and the like, but I do want to put some knives together. I'm also going to be putting together some videos of other people that make videos. I'm not going to put their videos on my video, but I definitely want to go through what's happening in the knife world today. So, on YouTube. So look for that, once every week, every other week, depending on the quality of product that's out there on YouTube, and I'll make some recommendations on some of the things I see. So, again, guys, new channel, hit the follow button down below. You'll see a lot more knife videos as we come out. Also, you're welcome to go out to edgyknives.com. We have all the rates for sharpening, and we can look at the type of edge that's best for your use. And as always, stay sharp and stay bright and stay safe. Thanks, guys. Bye.